class. A jump in COVID cases is keeping Morehead ninth graders home for the next few days.
Also coming up this Wednesday morning, Fargo school members get an earful from parents who have had it with face masks in their kids' classrooms.
Plus, you know they're out there, and health experts say to keep clear of ticks. We have a live report on outdoor safety. But first, police are crediting a local business employee with providing key information that led to the arrest of a suspect in the vandalism at the Morehead Fargo Islamic Center Mosque over the weekend. 22-year-old Benjamin Enderly of Morehead was arrested in Morehead. He was booked into the Clay County Jail around 7 last night on charges of harassment and criminal damage to property. Police are requesting enhanced charges because of hate-related acts.
Members of the mosque arrived early Sunday morning to find several hate-based messages spray-painted on the building. Hundreds of community members showed up the next day to clean it all up. Police say they received a number of tips from the public, and that helped them ID the suspect. Morehead is now quarantining its freshman class because of a bump in COVID cases among ninth graders. That means no in-person classes or activities starting today. The plan is to hopefully bring them back into the building on Monday. The quarantine does not, however, affect kids who spend their entire school day in self-contained special ed classrooms. Morehead school officials say there are 7 new cases this week. 160 students are already in quarantine.
The district is also urging families to help protect each other from COVID, since children under 16 are not yet eligible to receive a vaccine in Minnesota. You can do that by getting a COVID vaccine yourself and follow safety measures by wearing masks when in public, social distancing, getting tested regularly, staying home if you test positive or if you're sick, washing your hands, and covering your coughs. A group of parents is pushing for mask wearing to end in Fargo Public Schools. A few of them spoke up at last night's school board meeting, hoping to get that message across.
One mom says her son has a medical disability that requires him to not wear a mask. She says that he's being treated like an outcast and isn't getting the equal education he deserves. We did reach out to the school board for comment, but have not yet heard back. A North Dakota man and a child are being treated for serious injuries after being thrown from a motorcycle. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says 32-year-old John Troe of Crosby lost control of his bike yesterday on the shoulder of a road just south of town.
The bike tipped and both he and a child were thrown from the motorcycle. Both were airlifted to a Minot hospital. Troopers say neither victim was wearing a helmet. Charges are possible against the driver.
It is now 6:50 on the dot on this Wednesday morning. We want to get a check of our forecast and look at that starting out here in the metro. 41 degrees already. That's a pretty nice start to the day. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Looking beautiful out there. We've got some great weather ahead. Feeling more like springtime today as we're ending April and heading into May and getting closer and closer to severe weather season. And this week has been Severe Weather Awareness Week in North Dakota. Today we're talking about tornadoes again and tornado drill here today. So keep that in mind. Make sure you are working on your plans and reviewing them with your family and at work and at school for how to stay safe. And just a reminder of our tornado terminologies. First of all, watch means be prepared. It means you've got the ingredients, but it hasn't come together yet. This is the time to think about where you're going to be for the day, perhaps rethinking some plans. If a tornado watch is issued, a warning means you want to take action right then and there and get to your safe space. And an emergency means that a large tornado has been confirmed and could be extremely destructive and threatening. So some of those terminologies you're going to want to remember as we head into the season. And with springtime comes that possibility of fog. We saw that yesterday morning, and again this morning we have some foggy conditions out there. This is actually improving here on our view on the Dakota Magic Casino. You can see how still the air is. The flag's not moving really at all, but we have the full ground there, that field there, that across the street from the property. You could see that we're starting to see the ground a little bit more as that fog begins to retreat, but it is still out there. We still have some shallow layers of fog blocking our visibility in spots. Sunshine in Fargo, 41. It's 34 in Grand Forks, 38 in Thief River Falls. Fog reported in Bemidji, and much cooler at 27, 37 in Fergus, and Devil's Lake is at 44. So again, these temperatures are variable there, and our visibility is variable. Some places doing just fine, and then Detroit Lakes, Wadena, our visibility is at 0 in those spots, and other places in the valley with some dense fog in the south and in the east yet again here today. So sunshine otherwise. That fog should lift here over the next few hours with temperatures rising. We've got a cold front looming to the northwest. It's already bringing a few clouds, maybe some sprinkles up by Langdon. That'll move in for later on this afternoon and evening. But until then, a beautiful day out at the bus stop. Watch out for that fog. Make sure your headlights are on if you're driving, and watch out for kids out at the bus stop this morning. And we're looking at conditions that will be really nice heading home from school. We're looking at some 60s, maybe a couple of us reaching that 70-degree mark today if we can get enough sunshine ahead of the front. So looking pretty good for this Wednesday. We'll talk more about that rain here heading into the week throughout the morning and throughout the day today. You can check back with us. And beautiful conditions coming up for the weekend as well. Expect temperatures that are likely to reach the 70s.
I almost can't wait already. Looking forward to the weekend. Thank you, Lisa. As temperatures rise, we're ready to head outside, maybe mow the lawn, do some yard work, even take a hike to soak in this great weather that Lisa's forecasting.
But you do need to be aware of potentially bringing a tick into your home. We all feel them crawling on us right now. Just mention the word. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod. He joins us live this morning with more on what you can do to prevent that little pesky bug from being on you and coming into your home. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Jordan and Lisa. You guys are feeling in a studio, imagining being out here for a few hours. I'm feeling it just as much as you guys are. But it usually emerges in April and lasts until about the October, let's just say the fall months. Now, letting you know you can find them in tall grass, shrubby areas, also in wooded areas, kind of like Lindenwood Park here. Also letting you know that when a tick gets on your exposed skin, they do what we called a blood meal, which is when they're on your skin, just sucking your blood, as I mentioned. Now, they could transmit disease within hours of being on your skin. Lyme disease is a major example. And the most common symptoms: fevers, chills, headaches, fatigue, muscle aches, and joint pain. Now, deer ticks is emerging in North Dakota, and the most common one is the American dog tick. Now, the worst thing to do is to bring that tick into your home.
You can bring them inside your house, and so they may drop off the fur, or you're sitting next to your animal and then they could crawl on you and then potentially attach to an individual in the household.
So when you're removing that tick, do not burn, use petroleum jelly or nail polish. Use tweezers as close as you can, pull out and up, but make sure not to twist or squeeze. Now, to avoid the tick altogether, make sure you wear long sleeve shirts and pants, tuck your pants into your socks, and wear light colored clothing to help identify that tick. Now, before you go anywhere, use repellent on your clothing, also use it on your skin as well, letting you know to check your skin every few hours and check your animal skins as well to make sure that they don't have ticks on them too. Now, also make sure you take a hot shower when you get home, because that's going to help you out in the long run, and throw your clothes in the dryer for 10 minutes, because if there is a tick, it will dry it up. All the details found on valleynewslive.com.
Forgot about the pets too. They like our skin, our blood, and they like to get on the dog as well.
So you need to watch out for them, or even get them. I know they make treatments that you can pre-treat your pet with so they don't get on them. So some good advice here as we head on into the warmer days and months. Brian Sherrod reporting live. Thank you.
North Dakota is expanding its joint border vaccination program with Canada to now include truck drivers from Saskatchewan who are transporting goods to and from the U.S. It's similar to a program with Manitoba announced last week.
The Interstate 29 rest area near Drayton in northeastern North Dakota is serving as the vaccination site for drivers from Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and an additional vaccination site has been approved near the Saskatchewan border crossing at North Portal. The cost of the program will be covered by the U.S. government. There is good news in the fight against the coronavirus. President Joe Biden says starting immediately, fully vaccinated people can gather safely outdoors in small groups without wearing that mask.
The CDC has recommended wearing masks outdoors, regardless of your vaccine status up until now. The new guidance brings us one step closer to reopening the country and getting back closer to normal. A middle school student is being treated for a stab wound after police say he was assaulted outside an elementary school in Grand Forks.
Police found the victim in University Park, and he told them he knew the boy who stabbed him outside of West Elementary. That child was then found at a nearby home.
Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact Grand Forks Police. The FBI has opened a civil rights investigation into last week's deadly shooting of a black man by sheriff's deputies in North Carolina. The family of Andrew Brown Jr. says an independent autopsy found he was shot 5 times, including once in the back of the head. According to witnesses, Brown was killed as he drove away from deputies trying to serve him with a warrant.
A judge is rescheduling the sentencing date for convicted murderer Derek Chauvin. It was originally slated for June 15th, but is now being pushed back to June 25th because of scheduling issues. A Minneapolis jury last week convicted Chauvin of murder and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd last May. Afternoon snacks in many schools are almost as routine as recess, writing, and arithmetic. So when they stopped coming at Hillsborough Elementary, it didn't sit well with one second grader.
Yeah, so much so that the 7-year-old decided to give all of his own savings, more than $200, to make sure that the school could offer fruits and veggies to his fellow students.
Like pretty good money amount because I've tried to save up for a real four-wheeler.
How cute is he? We're told that thanks to Rowdy's generosity, snacks are back at Hillsborough Elementary for all kids. And hopefully, you mentioned this earlier, we can rally the community and get his savings back so he can get that
Yeah,
four-wheeler.
that's a lot of money for families, especially for a young kid. He works hard for it. So yeah, I think that maybe the least we could do is help him out in his journey to get what he's worked so hard for. But if you need a little help rounding out your food pantry, there is some help for you this afternoon.
More than 2,600 food boxes are being distributed in the FM area as part of the YMCA's Farmers to Families event. They're being distributed today from 4 to 6 in the north parking lot of West Acres Mall. Heads up, don't be alarmed if you hear sirens late this morning. They're being tested, and you're encouraged to conduct a tornado drill to practice your sheltering skills. Sirens will be going off in Cass County right around 11:15 this morning.
The main bridge between Grand Forks and East Grand Forks getting some work done today. Work will be done between 3rd Avenue Northwest and East Grand to 3rd Street North in Grand Forks. Traffic down to 1 lane. The Sorley Bridge should be open up, though, by later this afternoon.
Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question, 11% of moms have saved this for 20 years or more.
The answer is their report cards. Lisa, have you saved your kids?
Yep, I do already. And they're only in elementary school, middle school. I have a lot of them. But we had a lot of other good guesses, like that first lock of hair, ultrasound pictures. Maybe the percentage is bigger for us.
Baby shoes. Yeah,
Baby
I actually do
shoes.
have to say I have a report card of my grandmother's from when she was in elementary school in
So
the 1930s, and it actually is pretty cool to look at. But anyway, today's show at CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. Join us on the CW. Have a great Wednesday.